you want comfortable seats, Ram. Yeah. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2022 Ram 2500 Bighorn that is in a pretty crazy color. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Schmiller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with this truck. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Let's hop right into the video. Now, under the hood, we have a 6.7 liter diesel known as the Cummins. It's an inline six, goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission known as the 68 RFE. Power outputs with this engine transmission combo are 370 horsepower and then 850 pound-feet of torque. Let's go over the front end of this 2500. So first off, you guys will notice we have the 2500 heavy duty badge, and then coming down below here with the Bighorn, you've got the halogen headlights, and then you guys can see the fog light down below. Parking sensors here on the front end. We've got the blacked out toques because this has a sport package. That's why the bumper is body painted, and then you have some chrome accent here at the front with the Ram logo, but then the rest of the grille has been blacked out, and then notice all the trim around it has been painted to match the body color, and obviously super bright color. I mean, look at that. You got your regular work truck white, and then you got this in your face. Looks cool. Coming on the side here, we've got two 75mm tires wrapped around 18-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. You can see they went for a chrome design here with the wheels themselves, and then you guys can see here with the front suspension, that whole setup right there, and then also the shock right next to it. And then you can see we've got a Cummins badge here, we've got the Ram logo, we've got the trailer mirrors in this truck. Notice the door handles are body painted to match everything, and then here's your full side view on the truck. And then popping here to the rear, since this is a 2500, it's got the coil suspension in the back end. If you want good old leaf springs, you got to go for a 3500 with the Rams, and there you go. So here is our key fob. You got the Ram logo on the back, you have the unlock, the lock, and then the remote start. Now we have a payload capacity of 2,285 pounds here in the rear. You guys see we have a full outlet in the bed, and you can see the cargo light there at the very top. This one doesn't have a bed liner, but you guys know it's easy to add. And then lifting this up, very light, easy to get into place, and I actually didn't close it all the way, so you got to kind of muscle it a little bit. But anyways, here is your full rear view. We just have the baseline taillights here with this because it's a Bighorn sport sticker here on the side, and again, that's why the bumpers are body painted. All your regular badges here, receiver edge down below with all the parking sensors. Towing capacity with this is in that like 16-ish, 17,000 pound range roughly, and there you go. Now here's the door panel in the rear. You guys can see the blacked out trim here at the top and the cloth down below with the leather trim and stitching here at the very bottom. And then you guys can see the seats here in the back. So you've got the gray cloth. You kind of have the darker gray here, and then you guys can see here down the center. We have the ice buckets with the truck, and then you've got the under seat storage and all that fun stuff. And then you guys can see here with the vents and everything in the rear. This is a crew cab, so as you can see, legroom is solid. Headroom solid. Let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel at the front. Again, you guys can see the blacked out trim here with the cloth trim down below, and then you can see all the leather trim and stitching. Window controls right here, and then you guys can see the trailer mirrors. They do flip up. And then here are the seats at the front, which we're gonna pull that headrest back. You can see really nice cloth here, and then darker coloration on the outside, and then you can see down below. And these are definitely the most comfortable cloth seats in the truck world. You can see all of our power adjustments here on the side, pedals down below, and then you can see this is for the outlet there in the rear, and then we've got our light controls here with the fog light, cargo light, pedal adjustment, steering wheel adjustment is manual, and there's where we're looking for you pop in. Here's the steering wheel with the 2500. We've got leather trim all around, and you can see the darker stitching here in the center. We've got our gear limiter here, cruise control, controls for the center stack, voice control, phone command, all that fun stuff. And then you can see we've got radio controls in the back. Well, you can't see, but now you kind of can. Anyways, shifter for that 6-speed automatic, turn signal, windshield wiper stalk. There's the steering wheel. Now you can see the center gauge cluster here. We've got analog gauges on either side for the RPMs and for the speed. And then we have the screen here in the center, which give you different bits of information here on the truck, like fuel economy, for example. So pretty straightforward setup also. If you guys are wondering, that's the DEF gauge to let you know how much you have left. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, we're going to pop it into reverse. You guys can see we've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. Nice and fancy. And then going from that, also I forgot to mention, it has a zoom function. There we go. With the infotainment system, just as responsive as the previous version, makes clicking sound. I feel like it's just as user-friendly. I really don't have preference one over the other, so yeah, there's a 12 volt there at the top too. We've got analog controls here for the radio. We've got our stability control button here with the hazard lights. We've got our heated seats and heated steering wheel here for the front. Climate control down below the have a single zone climate, which we're gonna throw it over there into cold mode because I don't know, it's toasty for me. Got parking sensors right here, tow haul mode, diesel exhaust brake, and then you guys can see the trailer brake controls. We've got our two-wheel drive, four-wheel high, four-wheel low, and then the true neutral. And then you guys can see here with all of the auxiliary, USBs, all that fun stuff, and then there's some extra storage space here in the front. If you're wondering why that is, this has the bench seat, which has a center console. It flips up to also be a seat, and then there is more storage underneath because it's a Bighorn. Definitely nice. Then we have the glove box, dual glove box. Nice setup with that. This one just has a traditional mirror, and then the glass in the back is actually fixed. Now here is the window sticker for the 2022 Ram 2500 Bighorn. This is the standard equipment, so you guys probably want to focus on optional equipment, which starts over here. By the way, base MSRP is $48,530. Sorry about the glare, but you can kind of see the optional equipment. Anyways, total MSRP is $63,785, which makes this truck less expensive than the single cab Bighorn that I recently posted on the channel, which is pretty interesting. Anyways, let's take this out and drive it. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. There's visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. So we are about to set off here in the 2500 Bighorn. Always got to be cautious here. Can never trust Utah drivers. They always decide to randomly change lanes. No turn signal, but these people didn't do it. Anyways, setting off here in the Bighorn. First thing that I want to mention is I just drove a single cab before this. That was a 3500. This is a 2500. It's a little bit of a difference. Well, a big difference in suspension, right? Because that has leaf springs in the back, whereas this has coil suspension. And driving them back to back, there's such a huge difference in ride quality. Like the single cab with the leaf springs was so rough and it was bouncing all over this road. Whereas this truck, yeah, it doesn't have the same bounce. Like you guys will probably be able to tell in the point of view, like in the 3500, the GoPro view is probably kind of like wobbling a little bit, whereas this is just, you know, there's a little bit of up and down, but it's staying pretty planted. It's impressive, the ride quality difference between a 2500 and 3500, especially a single cab to a crew cab. It's a huge, huge difference actually. But in terms of driving, it's actually not as big of a difference as I expected. That is interesting. I thought that there'd be a huge difference between the single cab and the crew cab, but this does feel a little bit bigger, but it doesn't feel like massively larger. It feels like it's just marginally bigger, basically. So I think that that's definitely a plus if you ask me. Tons of torque. Ooh, torque feels great. Torque definitely feels great. But yeah, that's so interesting for me to see the difference between both of them. Is just with the ride quality and everything. So yeah, and then in terms of just the Bighorn package, right, seat comfort's great. These cloth seats, like I said, they're the best in the business right now. There is no other truck on the market that has more comfortable seats than this. So if you want comfortable seats, Ram. Yeah, love that Cummins. So it's not nearly as like wheel spinny, crazy acceleration as what you get out of the Power Stroke and the Duramax, but it's just so torquey and it gets up and moves, and it doesn't feel slow at all. It feels right. And this is more than enough. I've mentioned this so many times. The 850 pound-feet of torque is more than adequate for daily driver use. Really, the only reason you get the icing is if you need it for the towing, is what I'd have to say. But yeah, let's get into setting things up with this truck. So exterior-wise, I really like this Sport. It's definitely out there, bright blue, right? It's definitely unique. It doesn't have that work truck look, and so if you want something that feels a little bit more unique, feels a little bit more personal, right, then this will be the truck for you. Interior wise, the Bighorn's nice. It's got nice amenities, right? The seats are really nice. It's got heated seats, heated steering, all that fun stuff. The only thing I'm a little bit sad about now is the fact that you don't have a power sliding window as standard equipment with the Bighorn anymore. I think that's interesting. But other than that, it's great. It's a great package to go for. This is a really nice middle of the line package. You get most of the features of the Laramie, and you're paying a little bit less. And funny enough, I mean, I know this is the 2500 and the single cab I reviewed was the 3500, but this is less expensive than the single cab I reviewed, which is kind of crazy. So if you get like a middle of the line, this is like a middle of the line Bighorn. I mean, I feel like this is, yeah, it's pretty loaded up. It's cheaper than like a loaded up Bighorn single cab. It's crazy. Crew cab versus single cab. It's interesting. But yeah, it's a great driving truck, and I can tell you, driving them back to back, there's a significant difference in ride quality between 2500 and 3500. So if you don't need the payload of the 3500, the 2500 is definitely way more daily drivable. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2022 Ram 2500 Bighorn. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with the truck. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I will see all of you in the next video.